Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. It is the 6th of October, Tuesday. And I think we got a little bit of a back and forth market today. Just a little bit. Let's come over to the charts over here. Just want to show you really quickly our cost basis here. You know, yesterday, pretty good bounce off the buyer's cost basis. Move up. Donald Trump coming home there at that point. I think that's what boosted the markets. They came back a little bit. They're modestly back to where they were. Oh, now a little bit of a move up over the past hour. So, you know, the foreign markets didn't really do a whole lot with what we gave them. Come over here to the volume profile. You can kind of see a little bit more clearly. We're coming up against some significant resistance here soon, maybe in a day or two, and we'll see what happens. But they are pushing it. I am starting to detect some of that SoftBank type behavior again, and we do have news that they, again, like we reported yesterday, that they bought like 200 million worth of options, and I bet they're not done. Meanwhile, Treasuries took a big plunge yesterday, kind of balanced out, and then overnight they pushed down again, and at the moment they're dropping hard once more. Although I would caution with that, I'm just already seeing into 10-year icebergs on both sides here. Even though there could be more downside, the further this gets, the more difficult it is going to be for it to push, because they're slowly pricing in something, and there's no guarantee. It's not a for sure thing that the kind of move that they think is going to push us down is actually going to materialize. For instance, if they get a stimulus deal here before the election, then the treasuries aren't going to be able to move down as much. Right? I just want to point out here, if you look at the knob spread, still steepening. That's really, really, really important to note. Now I need to add the 2s and 10s over there. Okay. Oil is looking really nice past 2 days. Pretty good extension overnight, coming back up into the 40 area. So if oil can hold itself, then equities that'll really help equities out. Gold had a pretty good move yesterday. Pretty subdued again overnight. Maybe they're ready to go again. I don't know. We do have some news coming out here in a few seconds, by the way. I don't think that it's going to do a whole lot, but we got like trade balance and so forth coming through here. Was creating a little bit of light liquidity over in the E-mini. Okay, back to the chart. Then we look at copper. Again, copper had this huge bender of a move down, and then yesterday they recovered a lot of it. But now balancing. So I'm not so sure about that one. That drop is really concerning, to be honest. But yeah. We should also check here where we are on the ES. So we are back above the 50-day moving average after that yesterday. I'm telling you, I saw a lot of people say, we're below the 50-day moving average, sell everything. Yeah. No, it's not that simple. Do the stats on it. It's not that simple. It's not even actually a good probability trade. But it does increase your expectancy if you take your profits there and then get back in when it comes back above it. This situation, I'm not so sure. Anyways, let's turn on text to speech here. Get that going. Good deal. I want to check here. Where are... Yeah. All right. Yesterday's high was 3,400. 33.93 is a significant, is yesterday's close. Well, a push down to the 33.88 area would not be out of the question, and they look fairly mixed right now. Slightly bullish. Slightly bullish, but it's overnight action, so that's difficult. I don't know if I've got a trade off of that. I do see the 10-year ticked. It looks like they ticked down and then back up because the numbers reset at 23 and 23 half. I guess I should come in and clear these out because these are from a day long past. Uh, yeah. Spain's economy minister says quarter three GDP growth is better than expected. It looks like we got a little bit of a move up in the E-mini there because of that. Market year pointing out that the U.S. 10-year is at 0.79 interest rate now. And remember that basically every 6 ticks or so ends up being a basis point. So Trump and Biden are tied in Florida, says a Suffolk USA Today poll. That's not I'm going to need a link on that one. So on polling, here's something that I think we should be paying attention to on polling, and that is the polling difference between registered voters and likely voters. So normally at this point, polling tends to focus on what they call likely voters, which are people that report that they are very likely to vote in the election. But they're expecting such high turnout that some people are saying that you want to look more at the registered voters. If you look at registered voters, it's much more tilted towards Joe Biden. But you'll see polls that show Joe Biden like way ahead, and then it's not a poll of likely voters. Well, we had that move up there. I'm hearing stuff from the Spain economic minister over the squawk. I'm not sure if that's what actually moved us, though. Overall, today looks kind of quiet. You guys are kind of quiet. Overnight action isn't amazing. I suppose that means that we could have another continuation day, but oh, look, there the 10-year ticked up. So, well, we need to, while things are kind of chill, we should come in here. We should add a few things. So, one thing is that I want to add a spread here. Let's see here, ZT and ZN, and I think that one's supposed to be 2-to-1, right? Let's go and look at intercommodity spread, CME. Yep, it's 2-to-1. Okay. Man, when you do the twos and tens, the spread becomes really clear. You can see how much it steepened yesterday. Ooh. And that's a little concerning that it's so extreme in the twos and tens. Okay, now the next thing is I think we should add one for the NASDAQ and the ES. But what it would be the correct ratio for that? Let's see. So I don't think that they that's rated over here. Current Treasury ratio spreads. It only lists Treasury spreads, huh? There you go. Somebody else has searched for it. We may have to calculate a ratio by ourselves. Well, I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here. This could be completely wrong. But I am going to take a shot in the dark and add on front leg. I think is going to be ES. And NQ is going to be the back leg. I think this is going to be 2 to 5. Okay, hey, it's not bad. And it did do what I expected it to do yesterday. So when we were coming down, you can see that the ES did better than the NQ. The NQ sold harder. I totally got it right. How did I do it? I don't know. Stock Index Futures Spread Trading, PDF. From the CME. That's ES versus the Dow. Cool, they're showing like historical ratios, etc., etc. Wow, this has got so much. It's going to be at the bottom. What about if I just search for NQ? It's not in there. Of course, the one that we're interested in doesn't show up. I mean, the spread that we got on here is pretty good, but I'm just looking for something kind of like I thought there'd be like an official ratio at the CME, but apparently there is not. No, here's a post specifically about it. And they didn't give a good answer. That's funny. See, 5 to 2 is not bad. I'm wondering how different 2 to 1 would be. Let's just add a second one on here. Spread candles. Yes. And Q. 2 to 1. They're pretty similar. Yeah, slippage on a spread like that would be pretty crazy. They're saying 2 to 1 here in this one. Or at least that guy says 2 to 1. Huh. Well, 2 to 1 does seem a little bit like makes this move a little more extreme. So I'm going to say the 2 to 1. I'm going to delete this one. So we just note, if this starts going down again, that's bad. Because what I'm worried about is SoftBank's coming in, buying up some tech companies, and overall, it seems like there might be a big rotation here coming. If they rotate into banks and value plays because of what's going on in the treasuries, then things could change around very, very quickly. Now, that said, the treasuries are ticking up a little bit here, so my caution on that one was well founded. Okay.
Live Action says NQ could use some tech buying right now.
Yeah. Well, overall, everything looks pretty lackluster at the moment, doesn't it? And I don't know why, but my eyelid is kind of stick in there. Cool. Futures IO says free CME Globex level 1 data from EdgeClear. Cool. Until June 2021. If you're a member of Futures IO. Interesting. So I'm not surprised to see the Treasury ticking up a little bit, but if they start pushing regular session highs or above 25 half, then I have to start thinking something's up. Like hmm. The knob spread is steepening a little bit. I need to add a bunch of shit here. I know. I'm just being like so weird, but I really think it's going to matter today. So let's add just a regular spread one here. ES, NQ, 2 to 1. Oops. That's not what I wanted. I want ZT to ZN. 2 to 1. Okay.
Live action says come on S you can do it pooish. Hope and a prayer, one more leg up from yesterday.
I don't know, man. It looks pretty well, I don't know. Since we've been here, it's traded this whole range, I guess. But I find it curious. This move up to above 4,300 or 3,400. I mean, somebody really bought in there, and all I was hearing.
I am in long Helier and added.
Oh, okay. Because all I'm hearing on the squawk at that time was Spanish central bank guy. I'm like, the market cares about the economy in Spain that much? I was a little That was a little odd. I feel like there had to be some other reason for that, you know? So let's add over here. 2 to 1. Wow. Pivot Trader said he made his year on the Treasury
Live
move
Action
lower.
says, did he have a Spanish accent? Ace Trades says it's tied to the rain on the plane there in Spain.
So I'm noticing the ZB is back to the seller's cost basis. Now we get the spread. Okay. Draw a couple of lines on here for reference.
Live Action says Russell is strong, good sign.
That's funny. I'm talking to another trader, and he was saying that he did really really well on the Treasury short, and that some of the other people that he works with were really hyper skeptical about it. And I'm sitting like yesterday, I was super confident about it, right? Not feeling so confident today, to be honest with you. I feel like something's up. Hmm. The dollar's kind of been acting weird too. They're up just a tad from, well, yesterday they got killed, yeah. Nah, they're still at the bottom of that range. 93. What about gold? Gold is kind of all over the place. Oil was up, but on a pullback right now. 6J is trying to move down.
Live Action says NQ worries me when one indices lagging can be problematic for good move in all.
Exactly. And it does look to me like the NQ is lagging a bit. It's still within an acceptable range, but IMF's managing director Georgieva, very low or negative interest rates can be helpful in a pandemic, but pose increased risk for savers and the banking system. Rabobank. Critics will point out that the man who just fought the virus is not yet out of the woods medically and was caught puffing after climbing the stairs. True, but have they seen what Trump looks like after climbing any set of stairs at any time? Hmm. This Trump thing is kind of getting interesting to me because um, I see um, a lot of people getting upset that like he took his mask off. It's like he's standing on the balcony. He's the only one there. Why can't he take his like? I don't get it. So I was kind of reading the news yesterday and feeling really lost.
Ace Trades says nice thing about being a retail trader, we don't have to get in. We don't
Yeah.
have to trade. No quota. Sometimes you make money by not losing money.
Yep.
Mammon Thomas says what do you guys trade in here?
So we trade futures. Well, we're looking at I kind of
Ace
keep an eye
Trades
on
says
everything.
futures.
Yeah. I try and keep an eye on everything because what we're trying to do is we're trying to determine
Live Action
where
says Biden
the
last night was practically the only one there and he left his mask on.
Oh, really? So is it irresponsible because they were acting like it was irresponsible because he would infect other people. But it must be because they just don't like the message that it sends. Because the message that he's sending is, like he tweeted it, like don't let the virus control your lives, shouldn't be afraid of it, things like that. And they think that that's incredibly irresponsible. But I think that that's because it appears to me that liberals are still really scared of the virus. Even though, from my view right now, even though I expect the virus to continue, oh, yeah, the reader's a little
Uzi
slow here.
Knesset says you're not a good person unless you wear your mask in the shower. I always do. I'd lose so many friends on Facebook if I didn't.
Wear it in the shower. Anyways, from where I'm sitting, I feel like that, we got vaccines coming, we've got therapeutic treatments coming, and that probably the worst of it is through, even though I expect there to continue to be a lot of cases coming through the winter and possibly even more shutdowns. Like they're shutting back down in New York. I don't know. Say the Democrats get in. Do their policies on that sort of thing change or do they continue to remain shut down? Because I think many people say it's just politics. I don't see it. I don't see it that way. I think that they're genuinely scared and concerned. Even if maybe their politics have led them to irrational
Live Action says Uzi Grin
conclusions on
Grin.
that. Anyways, we didn't say enough about Mam and Thomas to what we're doing. So I'm looking at the whole basket of futures, but in particular, I'm interested in the Treasury futures. So that's why I've got the 30-year, the 10-year, and the 5-year up here. And then over on the left, I've got the E-mini
Troubleshooter
future.
says hello.
This is the regular E-mini, and this is the micro. So I might take a trade in the micro here. Looking at renewables,
Mammon Thomas says looking at renewables they pricing in a Biden win.
I think a lot of things are
Uzi
pricing in
Knesset
a
says
Biden
back
win.
toward the end of April, beginning of May, reports began questioning the universal usage of ventilators for COVID patients. Healthcare backed off on it and ventilator shortages stopped being. Uzi Knesset says a concern. You'll notice this is the point where COVID deaths started dropping significantly.
Well, that's an interesting point. I had heard before that getting on the ventilator was really bad. Although the thing that I find interesting about it is that it's not, I thought that it was all in the lungs. And of course, it is all in the lungs in that, you get the pneumonia and everything else like that. But apparently, the thing that's the greatest risk factor is cardiovascular health. That it stresses your heart out and stuff, which is one of the things that I find really interesting. But I mean, the thing is I really feel like Trump's hospital visit shows how effective these new drugs are. There was a little bit of concern over how effective remdesivir was. Okay, but remdesivir was okay, and then they had that cocktail came out, and that is really effective.
Uzi Knesset says watch. If we start going through next year without a COVID vaccine and new cases still popping up, now that we don't run to ventilators for COVID, the CDC's excess death rate will vanish.
Oh boy.
Troubleshooters says good news and bad news. I got the virus. Breathing is freckin' hard and you cannot talk for too long. Good news. Medication is working.
Oh
Today is
really?
the
Are you
last
for
day of
real
meds.
shooters?
50
you for
Ghosts
real
Trading says that
troubleshooters?
was the point, which is suspect.
You for real troubleshooters? I hope you're okay. You sound like a healthy individual though, so I think. Oh wow. Okay.
Troubleshooters says I am bruh. I can tell you the list of tabs.
Huh. Well, good luck to you then, I guess. I remember when we went through all of this at the beginning, and we calculated that I would have like at least one viewer that would die or something like that. But we've kind of gained a lot of people, so we might have two subscribers dying, which makes me very sad. Um, man, well, the thing is that again, it seems to me that the only thing that really matters is how you handle
Uzi Knesset
the
says
at
ever
risk
since you
people.
said that, I kinda worried about IQ. Remember him? He was an older dude here in FL.
Oh, you're right. I haven't seen him. We haven't seen him in a long time, have we? I'm trying to think back, but I mean, that's months ago, man. Oh, people come and go. It's kind of starting. I'm getting to the point now where sometimes I have to look back. Like the other day, I was looking back of an instance of spoofing. I was trying to find an instance of spoofing, and I was going back, and like that was 2 years ago. And I remember 2 years ago, like that was like, you know, the Federal Reserve increased interest rates, and that was a point at which it seemed like the channel was growing. But like you look back on it now, and it's like, wow, we've been doing this literally for 4 years, slowly, and you can see the progress, but it's so slow. Like the channel grows slowly, and it's interesting, man. Okay, well, I don't know about this one, but
Uzi Knesset says time flies when the world is burning lol.
I don't know, man. It's this year. It feels like nothing existed before this year, and then it's been forever. Like I remember that first weekend of lockdown and seeing videos of
Troubleshooters says the compounding effect, Seth.
yeah, and seeing videos of people going around to the trash cans the next day, and there just being empty alcohol bottles in every bin. And I was still working and thinking, man, so all of these people, like half the country is just gets off and they're just gonna pay for it, and I still have to work. Like what the heck? And now I continue to get a little bit confused about that one, because as far as I can tell, there's still a very large percentage of the American population that isn't working. Like 25% or something like that. And it's like, so how are people paying for bills and stuff? There's always been this point like, oh, people won't be able to pay rent, and then we'll have a real financial crisis on our hands, sort of a thing. And it never happened. Is it
Troubleshooters
still
says
there?
40 million as of
You know
now.
what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like never happened. How are we still doing this? Is everything just on hold till the election, and then after the election all of the bad news will come out and it'll be like, oh,
Uzi Knesset says combination of unemployment benefits and utility companies, landlords pushing back payment requirements.
well, how long can they continue to do that? Just, you know? Okay, well, it's the top of the hour now. Oh, I'm trading against you, live action?
Live Action says Seth, you're trading against me. That's not nice.
Oh, I have to say, I feel like this trade is a little bit random. I'm starting to feel a little bit concerned for the E-mini,
Troubleshooter
but
says the
it's so
domino effect
tepid.
Uzi is gonna kill us all.
I'm just watching these treasuries move up, and I'm worried about it. Like, look,
Uzi Knesset says the only way things return to normal is if Biden wins. Narratives won't cool until Trumpo is gonezo.
I know that they traded more than that at all of those, but for that to only be what they traded after the uptick is kind of a little weird. You know what I mean? And that consistent through that range, and it was a pretty solid, you know, uptrend there. Now it's not been nearly as dramatic in the 5 year. Which, if we're getting steepening, you would have to expect the 5 year would go up a little bit more than this one. But overall, I'm just a little. Instead, what's happening is these are going in the 30 years. Just only way things return to normal is if Biden wins. I don't know, dude. I don't think so. Like, this is going back to the thing. I don't think that it's just politics. I think that there's a group of people that are. So here's the thing. Remember, I was saying that there's certain personality types, and the less openness you have, the more likely you are to be really scared of a virus. And then I went on to postulate that there's probably more conservatives like that out there. Remember that?
Troubleshooter says, if I may ask, why do you have the same shirt as thumbnail in all your vids?
I don't, but a lot of my shirts look the same. We need to get new thumbnails is what we need to do. Anyways, but I think that something else has happened. I think that perhaps the Democrat Party has become closed.
Uzi Knesset says it's all perception, man. The media has the average American thinking COVID as a death sentence. That affects everything from employment to consumption and politics.
Yeah, no, it's not the same look. I'm wearing my blue collared shirt in the video.
Live Action says, I am worried
thumbnail.
about Biden packing courts, making DC and Puerto Rico states, getting rid of First and Second Amendments.
See, like, and the thing is based on what Biden's here. Let me pause you for a second so I can go into this one because this will take a little bit to explain. Biden's whole reason for running has been like, we need to get things back to normal. So he's kind of been saying on one side, nothing is going to change, but then on the other side, he's been saying, well, I'm still very far left and all this sort of a thing. And Wall Street seems to be betting that that's all just bluster to get his base to vote for him, but that ultimately he's not going to change a whole lot, right? If that's the case, and that's what he was running on, why wouldn't he say, we're not going to pack the Supreme Court? We're not going to try and make these places states and all of these sorts of things. Like, we're not going to do crazy stuff if we get in charge. They refuse to answer the question. They just deflect completely. I really don't think you would lose that many votes from saying that we're going to continue to follow the rules and we don't want to, create massive division and stuff like that. Like, that would be the theme that I would be trying to get out, at least, is that, well, we'll have a Democrat majority and that will definitely matter, but we don't want to create more animosity. We want, Americans to come back together and we want everything to calm down. Like, that's what I would be saying if I was Biden. So for them to not answer that question is really disturbing to me, because it really concerns me too. If they packed the courts, in particular, if they packed the courts, conservatives would be, oh my gosh, it would just be the end. Like even FDR tried packing the courts and it didn't work, right? If they actually did that, it would be crazy. And that's the other thing is like I'm not sure that the Democrat reps would really go along with that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that gets kind of crazy. And then yeah, then you go in and you add two more states and everything to make it a permanent Democrat majority. That would just be like, at that point, Republican states would have no reason to participate in the system anymore, and that would be really really bad. Mm-mm-mm.
Let's not make this personal, says I saved up a 2-year emergency fund. It's like people completely forgot about '07 and '99 and the '80s and the '70s. Almost like we do this every 10 plus 3 years. Uzi Knesset
Yeah.
says rest assured if the Dems take all 3 branches of government, it's over for Republicans forever. They're going to crush that party over having the audacity to elect an outsider. Live Action
Maybe.
says during Obama administration didn't they vote 5-4 in court not to ban books?
So here's a warning for Democrats though. And it's not really a warning for Democrats. It's kind of more of a warning for I guess what most people would call the uniparty. But people that are in favor of globalism and global trade kind of policies that many Americans are upset about and has really was the reason that Donald Trump got elected. Here's the thing that you got to understand is that Donald Trump had a positive and a negative. The positive was that he was going to take on some of these policies that have been hurting average Americans. Right? That's one. By the way, you shouldn't have this. Two is the bad thing is that he just has a personality that a lot of people don't like. Right? So the thing is that in that last election, if it wasn't for Hillary Clinton being that, just so much worse and all of the legal stuff that came out and everything, she would have won. You know what I mean? But let's say that we go back. Let's say that we have somebody that's pretty outsider politically, but has a better demeanor. Is more likable demeanor. They would trounce. They would mop the floor with Hillary. They would mop the floor with Biden. So if the Democrats do win and they push it too far, adding new states and things like that, I would not just assume that it's just like the Democrat Party forever. If it really does go that far, then what will happen is there will be a schism in the Democrat Party because this dynamic is real. There are a lot of Americans that are hurting from some of the globalist policies that we've had. And it's only going to get worse because, you know, in the tech industry, we kind of avoided it. Like the tech industry is kind of still that one place where, there's a lot of middle class Americans making good money. And they've tried to ship our jobs overseas. It didn't work very well because, I guess shipping that work over to India had a lot more problems than people expected. But the thing is that they will work through those eventually, and India will be able to, once they have more experience in managing the projects and things like that. Yeah, it'll be attractive. So once you ship all of those jobs out, then what do you have, right? There's a lot of people. That's a lot of people where the economy is not working for them, and that's the thing is that this whole thing about money and politics, it's a feature. It's a feature, guys, and you can't have the majority of the population losing money and maintain that power structure. It just doesn't work. And somebody else will come along, and it might not even necessarily be a Republican. It would be better if it was a Republican, because if it's a Democrat that comes in and does it, then you could start to see really truly crazy things. But you get like a Bernie Sanders in, right? What if you think Bernie Sanders runs again in 4 years and then finally wins after running three, for the third time's a charm? Yeah. If I was a Democrat, I wouldn't be resting easy at all.
Troubleshooters says, can you help me out? I can understand value investing and the discounted price theory. Tried my hand at trading and I lost 5K. How do I get back to trading and be successful?
Okay, well, so let's go into this. I know there's a bunch of other comments I want to address. Uzi's talking about some state constitutions. It's changing the power dynamic, restructuring the government into a one-party machine that they can do and would if it meant no more outsiders for either one. No, because the outsiders would just take over that structure that they make. As long as there's still free elections. As long as there's still free elections. Okay. So to troubleshooters question. So the first thing is you have to realize that the probability of being consistently successful in trading is like 1%. Okay. That's just a statistic. Okay. Um, and the reason why I always start with that isn't to discourage you per se, but you really have to ask yourself, why do I want to do this? Is it because it's something that I think I would be good at? Is it because I think I will make a lot of money off of it? Because that's usually the sorts of things that people tend to think about when they go into a career, right? Like say you want to be a lawyer. Do people sit and think, "Oh man, yeah, all of that schoolwork and constantly crunching and looking up laws and stuff and all of the stress and the long hours, yeah, that sounds so much fun. I would love being." No. I don't I think there are very very few people that go into the lawyer industry thinking, "Oh, it'll be so much fun," right? Lots of people do that for making video games. Not a lot of people do that for lawyers. Why? Because they go into it because it makes money, right? And a lot of people get into trading because it makes money. Well, that's why I always say first thing, your chances of being successful in trading is like 1%. So the question that I would ask myself is, am I willing to continue trading even if I'm losing money and I'm consistently losing money? Because that's what you're gonna. That's the kind of attitude that you're gonna have to even have a chance at making it to that 1%. Is you have to have some sort of deeper um, reason, like that. This is like what you were meant to do. Like I'm good at this. I'm obligated to get better at it, and somebody has to do it. That's how I tend to think about it. Is I feel like that, I have developed systems of thinking that can help people better approach trading, and that having market makers and traders that understand what's going on and are able to price things correctly is a very essential part of markets, and that is where I need to be, because if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. All right. Now the second thing is that I've been looking at a lot of studies, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I've been looking at a lot of studies about how many traders are successful and why the successful ones are successful. And I found one that was about the traders on the Taiwan exchange, and their conclusion was that traders that were taking advantage of that were making some of their gains from providing liquidity tended to do better, but that they didn't necessarily make money. And traders that knew what was going on and were trading in times of extreme information asymmetry were the ones that were consistently successful. Okay. I'm still a little bit sick and I feel short of breath. I don't think that I have coronavirus, but I got some sort of cold. Okay. So that means that the first thing that I would recommend to you if you want to day trade and you're getting started is know as much about what's going on as you can. Go to the news sites, CNBC, read what they're saying, what they're talking about. I would look particularly for any kind of news article that talks about Wall Street analysts. Like you'll get this thing that will say Goldman Sachs has a report out. So, for instance, yesterday on the economy subreddit, I saw one where Goldman Sachs was saying that a Democrat win would actually be positive for the economy because so much stimulus would be coming out and that would be a good thing for them. Okay. These are the sorts of things that you want to know. And you want to know, why does the analyst think that? That doesn't mean that you follow the analyst, but you want to know, what are the different things that people think are the direction that things are going, and why do they think those things? And you want to know as much about that system as you can. Okay? Next part. You want to know, how do different strategies work? Like, what is a CTA, commodity trading advisor? What does a CTA strategy tend to look like? What is a risk parity fund? How do those work? How do index funds manage their stocks? These sorts of things, right? You want to know as much about how the market works as possible. How does the exchange actually match up orders? How does that work, right? I think that as traders, we come in and we think, okay, I'm trading. You trade with the chart. It's technical analysis. All I need to do is I need to know as much about the charts as possible, and then I'll be successful. And what you're going to find is that almost any edge that you're going to pull out of that is been arbitraged out by robots. So in order to find that edge, you're going to have to understand a lot more about the system. So that's my suggestion to you, troubleshooter. Understand as much about the markets as possible if you're really going to go into this. But again, you should consider that you might never make money from it. Okay. How can they pack the Supreme Court? No, no, no. What they can do is Congress actually decides how many judges there are. So they could come in and make legislation that says that there's now 21 spots on the Supreme Court, and that they need to appoint, X new judges to fill that. That makes sense. We need 10 more judges now. And now all of a sudden it's, what is a 6-3 goes, 17-6 or whatever it is. 14-6. That won't happen, but that's the thing, is that if there's a full Democrat sweep, they will have the votes to do it. Now, the key thing here, what is the key thing that would prevent that from happening right now, is the filibuster. So right now, to really get anything serious done in the Senate, you have to have 60 votes for legislation. Now, the Democrats got rid of the filibuster for court appointments because they were mad about Merrick Garland. So they got rid of it. And then the Republicans have used that to push through a lot of judges because the Democrats were just doing everything to stop them from appointing any judges at all. And the Republicans continue to use the filibuster to stop any kind of real legislation from coming through. So there's a pretty good chance that what will happen is new election will come. Democrats say we need new stimulus. Democrats put together a $4 trillion stimulus bill. Republicans say absolutely not. Filibuster that stimulus bill. And then Democrats say to hell with it and nuke the filibuster. Okay. Once the filibuster is gone, the Democrats can pack the Supreme Court if they chose to, because the Republicans wouldn't be able to stop it without the filibuster. Makes sense? So at that point, it turns into how many Democrat representatives are actually on board with doing that. And given how extreme the parties have gotten and everything, I'm not so sure that there would be any Democrat reps that would stand in the way of that. So it's a real possibility. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's a real possibility. What were you arguing about earlier? Her said she would executive order banning guns. Did you guys miss that? Yeah, what she said was a little bit more nuanced than that, but I certainly wouldn't be voting for her if I was a gun rights activist, gun rights, not activist, but supporter. If I was a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, I certainly wouldn't be voting for her. Okay. See a headline I missed a little earlier, them saying that they were making progress on the EU UK trade talks. Well, we got 2 minutes to the open, and we've just kind of been chilling here. And the treasuries continue pushing up. Hmm. And I also want to note that I'm detecting that the Nasdaq is falling a little bit harder than the E-mini here on these moves. Video, is that what convinces you? A great video of no one saying anything like you're saying what's wrong with videos? Well, I totally get how Ace Trades feels here, man. Because I remember having this argument with some friends. Grant, keep in mind, I live in Utah, pretty conservative, relatively speaking, to the rest of the country. But here in Utah, I'm a liberal. And I really identify with like classical liberal ideas, like, rights and so forth, in ways that I think a lot of conservatives dismiss. Um, and I'm also very much about trying to determine what is actually truly correct and based on science and things like that. And there are instances like with the face masks, for instance, pretty clear to me that the face masks work. And so some people in Utah think that I'm like a crazy liberal, and I end up arguing with them. I remember this one person; they were sending me all of the conspiracy theory stuff, and they're like, "Oh, just watch this video." And they send me like, okay, you want to prove something right or wrong, you send like a 2-hour video full of unsupportable claims, and it's like I know what's in there, like it's bullshit. I can't if you can't sufficiently explain it in a few sentences, then you must not actually have real evidence to prove your point. You know what I mean? Like you should be able to like cite a primary source. Okay, so slight move up. I have to say that the open here has been a little quieter than normal so far, but they do look bullish for the moment. Okay. So a little bit of absorption there in the 3402 area. World Health Director saying something, saying we need vaccines by the end of the year. We may have a vaccine. There's hope. Okay. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of volume both ways now here at the 3401 area. What platform do you use? I am using Jigsaw Day Trader for my execution and Ninja Trader 8 for my charts. Does the medium of information really determine its validity on its own? It can, yeah. It depends on the subject. Here's the thing. You're never going to find a primary source on YouTube. It's extremely unlikely that um, something that is like would be considered a primary source that you could cite and say a news article that it came from YouTube. That's why it's like if you have a point and you actually have real evidence to support it, um, you would find that information rather than a YouTube video. When you have a YouTube video, what I'm immediately thinking is okay, like or Facebook or whatever, this person may believe this thing because it's been fed to them from social media and they're not thinking very critically about it. Like I don't know if you've seen that Netflix special. Oh, I forget what it's called, but it's about how social media works and why it's causing all of the problems. And I think that there are some problems with that documentary, but they do point out some useful things, like that they tend to show people politically charged content because it's addictive. And when it becomes addictive, you will walk into situations that you otherwise wouldn't because you're not really thinking about things rationally or critically anymore. So that's why I say, like, if you really had a real source for something, I don't think that you would find it on YouTube. I would be able to cite something from CNBC or some research study or, you know, that, well, I don't know what the argument was about, that the Democrats will try and pack the Supreme Court.
Abyssal Whip says
I
for
don't know.
sure.
I forget what it was. Oh, about firearms. Well, it's like the primary source is Kamala Harris did say X thing. So you can go and find the direct quote of that, right? And then you'd be able to see that what she said was a little bit more nuanced than what the gun rights advocates say, but I still wouldn't vote for her. So it still sounded pretty, I don't know, what do you say, totalitarian, like, oh, we're just gonna get rid of all the guns. A lot of Democrats have said stuff like that. Okay, so the Bears there made a fairly significant run down, but the cumulative delta didn't flow out yet. But they are pushing through the buyer's cost basis at the moment from the overnight session. And I would expect them to try and make it to 94 or below. But it's coming back to that 3400 and just kind of chilling there. And in fact, somebody kind
Live
of brought
Action
it back
says
up.
don't give up your gun rights. I had one sister shot another kidnapped and raped. She survived but friend's sister did not. Had 3 home invasions, multiple burglaries of my business.
Well, I feel like you shouldn't give up your gun rights. I agree with that. It doesn't mean that there can't be reasonable like background checks and stuff. But oh man, like some of these like the red flag laws where your guns can be taken away from if your friends or family report
Let's
that
not
you're
make this
having mental
personal
health
says we do need
problems.
sensible gun control laws.
Oh, I think red flag laws are so dangerous.
Live Action says dealt with multiple riots, 7 murders in 2-block radius of bus, multiple guns and knives pulled on me, etc., etc. Had to hire lawyer to get permit and it took 3 years. Let's not
Did
make this personal says like tax credits for buying a safe.
did you see that thing with the guy? I don't remember who it was. One of Trump's close advisors or like running on his campaign. Was it Mike Cernovich? I don't remember who it was, but and he was tackled by the police. Uh, Probably unnecessary roughness, but he was like his wife called the police saying that he was, being suicidal and everything else like that. And so they arrested him. They have a law there in Florida where somebody can be arrested and involuntarily admitted for a mental health check, and that's what they
Let's not
did.
make this personal says where the hell do you live Live Action? Uzi Knesset says man, I can buy a gun from my neighbor for a can of beans in my state lol. You have to get permitted? EU.
No, you have to get a background check and stuff, right? I guess maybe you can do it from I don't know what the laws are on private dealers. It's really frustrating. Like there's no classifieds. I would think that there would be a really good secondary market for guns, but your
Uzi
local
Knesset says
newspapers and
private
stuff
sales
don't
my
allow it.
dude. Let's not make this personal says not person to person.
There must be like a classifieds website for guns out there, but I don't know what it is. Okay, so somebody bought it up there, and now it's kind of well, it's not down a lot. It's maybe like 4 ticks, but it does
Gunja
seem to
Din
be
says
kind
shut
of
that
turning
bitch
over
up.
again. Oh, don't say that. You don't like the text to speech? I love it. It's very useful. Because otherwise, I have to stare at the screen and read all your stuff, and I can't actually watch my screen. Okay, they gonna break that low now? Yeah. Okay. Well, that one was not. They didn't break it. They touched it.
Uzi Knesset says caps lock is cruise control for cool. Live Action says I live in one of most expensive counties in US. Rex says the text to speech is okay but it's too fast.
I totally understand, Rex. I have the text to speech reading it at 1.2% speed because I want people to read it fast, and I understand that that's probably a little jarring for people, but I felt like in order to keep up with things and all of that, that it was a little necessary. So otherwise, it would take like way too long for her to read stuff out. But it's more for me than for you. When I'm like not actively trading and I'm just focused on you guys, then I'll usually read them out myself. But the text to speech is really useful to allow me to continue to hear what you guys are saying
Rex says
without
how
moving
about a
my eyes off the
compromise,
DOM.
like 1.15x?
I guess I could try it. I felt like that 100% speed was just way too slow. I like to talk fast. It was this interesting thing I've been noticing is like on TikTok, you only got a minute. So these people that get really good at packing a lot of information into a minute, and there are some really good informational content on TikTok. And now I'm starting to see it on YouTube. So like there's this girl, I don't she changed her channel's name. I don't remember what her name is anymore, but her name was the content bug. And she was making content about how to make good YouTube content and stuff. And she talks so effing fast. And you can tell that that's just the way that she is. But it was so good because I get so much information quickly. And I feel like that a lot of YouTube videos, they're so slow. And I'm like, just give me an article because I could read this, like this is a 5-minute video and I could read this in 30 seconds, So I kind of like people to talk fast. That's just me. I'm sorry. So if it bothers you, I understand how you feel, but I don't think I'm going to change it. Oh, so I don't think it's 1.2. I think it's like 1.1, but I don't remember what I put in there. Okay, so they did break that low again. Not a very strong move yet.
Let's not make this personal says they are trying to get to 10 minutes for ad revenue.
Yeah, that happens too, huh? I think that's why YouTube changed it now so that there's the amount that you need to be able to stick like mid-roll ads and so forth has changed so that people don't do that anymore. I think that they realized that it was killing engagement on some videos. So that's good. On the other hand, man, people will just watch videos. Like I'm always shocked. I think I mean these streams are great and I'll go back and watch myself sometimes on replay to see what happened.
Let's not
And
make this personal says 8 minutes now, I think.
it's interesting to listen to yourself. Like I would never think that I would enjoy listening to myself talk like with first, especially when you first hear yourself. It's kind of jarring and you don't like it. But you just kind of learn to accept yourself, and I kind of enjoy it now. Um, but I'm still shocked that people watch the replays. Like they don't just watch the replays; like they watch like the whole thing on replay. There's a lot of awesome people out there like that, and I think part of it is that they're using it to practice. They're watching the level 2 and everything. But man, it's some of the watch time on this channel is like insane. Thousands and thousands of minutes every day. I'm like, what? Really shouldn't be that many people interested in futures to watch it that long, but they do. So you can get away with long videos, and people will watch. There will be people out there that will watch them. You would think that it would be zero, but it's not. It's never zero. It's never zero. There's always a one. And maybe he just accidentally left the video playing, but there's always one. Okay, so they're making an okay recovery here. It's still not changing in cumulative delta. I would say that's a pretty straight run up there, but again, there was no delta behind it. No absorption the other way either. Treasuries still remain at the highs. And treasuries are now all above their buyer's cost basis.
Let's not make this personal says think they will start going after people streaming level 2 or other paid services.
I don't know. If they ever do that, then we'll just adjust accordingly. But I think that this isn't really I don't think that this has any effect on their bottom line. If anything, this helps them get more customers. So, because people realize how effective the level 2 is, and it gives them, I think that video is a way better way to watch the level 2 and like practice it, review it. So I think overall that it's a benefit for those data providers. But we've been doing this for a long time, so.
Let's not make this personal says not really causing damage in a good ad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe if I had like 100,000
Let's not make this personal
subscribers,
says agreed.
They might start thinking, well, we can adjust, right? I can just only show my face if we have to. I don't think most of you guys even actually look at the screen anyways. At least not when you're watching live. You have your eyes on your own screen. Okay, well, yeah, that up move came back pretty quickly. But like I said, the up move didn't really have a whole lot of cumulative delta on it. The down move didn't really have a whole lot of 400 contracts. I'm looking at the spread here. It's still from the regular session, at least it's actually still in the middle, so they're not actually below. It's not like seller advantage yet. Oh, you have an offer at 29?
Uzi Knesset says lol at my sad offer at 29 in ZB with a 141Q position disappointed.
You want to fade it there, huh? Hmm.
Uzi Knesset says not anymore lol.
Not anymore. I got you. I'm kind of watching it like, uh, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the treasuries are going to do here now. This is an area where have had a hard time. Like, they might continue
Let's
up
not
and
make this
start
personal
stopping
says
people
forget the
out.
charts. I just stare at the eye candy that is speculator Seth.
Oh, thank you. I love it. I tell you what, the thing is, I really enjoy having people to talk to and having this back. Like trading is on your own. It sucks. It sucks. And you can't find other traders to yap with, you know. But this creates a really great
Uzi
way to have a
Knesset says I
community.
tried to catch it on that little down move and missed. But now that it pulls back up, my offer is Audi 5000.
I gotcha. Hmm. Yeah, I was watching this video. I know this is going to seem like a crazy comparison, but it was a video from Charisma on Command about the psychology behind OnlyFans
Uzi
accounts.
Knesset says you know buy from me greater than fuck you den.
And one of the things that he was pointing out was that on OnlyFans, if you go on OnlyFans and you message a creator, she will always respond back to you. And it will be like you can send her like the most boring, mundane comment, and she will always respond back with something interesting. And so it's almost like you don't have to put the effort in to have a relationship with somebody. Now, I don't think that that's what's going on when you're doing streaming, but I do think that what happens is because it's an area of interest for you, and because that's basically all that we do, then that creates the basis to have the interaction on there, right? So not only do you get to have, and not only do you get to have that kind of interaction, but you get that kind of interaction on a subject that it's really hard to have interactions with people on. You know what I mean? And that's what I think it makes having a stream so great. Is it's like you spend all this time, you want to talk to people about markets. It's so hard to talk to people about markets, and then all of a sudden you come into a stream and it's easy because that's all we're doing here. And we're all interested in it, and anybody that comes in, we're a small community. It's like you don't have to fight for attention. I try to I usually we have time to address everything that people say. It's great.
Uzi Knesset says OnlyFans. Rent a girlfriend minus the sex lol.
That's what it seems like to me. I have to say, um, when I'm not streaming, sometimes in the evening, I'm sitting there thinking, man, I wish I'm like wanting that kind of human interaction because I'm not the kind of person that craves it all the time. But like once a month, having a one day where I just go crazy and have a lot of interaction with people, and then I'm good. You know what I mean? And it used to be that you could get a lot of that on Facebook and so forth, but man, it's Facebook is shit right now. So not like that anymore. And so I don't think that OnlyFans would be. I don't think that that would be very. What is the word? Respectful to my family, I guess. But I
Uzi
see the
Knesset
appeal.
says I
I
dunno.
see the
I never
appeal.
let the internet wreck me to that point. Lol. I still physically see people.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we ever got to the point where the YouTube channel and this was like my whole work and I didn't have a day job anymore, I think that I would still go and get a day job. I would just go and get a more mundane, not mundane, but a day job that maybe doesn't pay very well, but where I see a lot of people and have the chance to talk to people. I think that I would have to force myself to do that. Hmm. So they're coming back down towards those lows, but very slowly. And I can see some buyers still trying to defend it there. There you go.
Let's not make this personal says would be nice to know a few local people and trade in a rented space with 100 gig internet.
Back in the day, that's what they used to do. Like in the 2000, before the 2000 tech crash, it was really hard to get the hardware and data and everything that you needed to really actively trade. So trading arcades were very common. And even in small cities, there would be trading arcades where a couple of dozen guys would be trading tech stocks until it crashed. And then they all lost everything. I met this guy. He said he had a couple $1 million and then you lost it all in a crash. And back then I thought, oh, well, he must have been really good. And that's really sad. But now I think back on it, I'm like, actually, that's pretty much exactly what is likely to happen. You'll get a
Let's
bull
not make this
market.
personal says yikes.
Everybody comes in, thinks they know what they're doing, and then the bear comes and they just get absolutely decimated. It's happened twice this year. Because before coronavirus, there was a lot of people thinking that they were really good at trading, and then they got destroyed. Well, I gotta tell you guys, it's been overall bearish, but it's so slow. You've got to wonder, will they either flip it around or is there going to be a point here? And it might be if they make another new low that things might accelerate. Well, that move looked okay. One tick of a new low, no stops or anything. Okay. And here below like 92.90 might be a little bit of unhappiness. Okay, yeah. That's a much better down move. It's a little messy. You see over here on the range chart where it's kind of when you get these, that's a strong move. So we need to come in here. I'm looking at. Oh, that's right. Okay, so 93 was yesterday's close. So now there's going to be pivots below us that they're looking at that do kind of coincide with some of the levels that I'm using. So the treasuries continue to look strong. There's still a little bit of room on the upside, at least in the 10-year. One more tick. The other two have plenty of room, but the 10-year, one or two more ticks left. On the open, I saw the ES and NQ kind of flop around a little bit, but then since then, we've continued to see the ES be strong compared to the Nasdaq. In other words, the Nasdaq is dragging us lower. There's actually quite a bit more activity over here in the ES than the MES, at least in that spot. Not getting much news. Okay, so on that last move right there was some strength in the NQ. FDA says vaccine would need 2 months of safety data for EUA. McDonald's may start selling Beyond Burger in the UK. ZB still looks pretty good. I was reading this thing the other day. I'm sure that there's they were kind of getting into an area of science where our understanding isn't very strong, but they were saying that just having a scientist there, like watching the experiment, seemed to change the result of the experiment. You heard anything like that before? And people have used that to try and kind of extend it to that you can actually can will things into happening. Somehow it changes the molecules, and well, I don't know about that, but it was kind of interesting. I always think about that sort of thing when it's going really slow and you get really focused on the price action, and you're like, is me being so focused on it here causing it to do something? You know what I mean?
Brandon Robbins says quantum physics.
Yeah, quantum physics.
Let's not make this personal, says observer effect.
Yeah, observer effect. It's kind of a weird thing. Um, okay, so we're about to get some news here. The Jolt's jobs opening.
Uzi Knesset says
Not
no
seeing
fair.
liquidity
You
pull or
change the
anything.
outcome by measuring it.
Right. Okay, jobs openings lower than forecasted. 6.493 versus an estimated 6.685. Okay, we're moving up a little bit here. Don't know about that one. We'll move this and there was a fair amount of delta on that move, 500. Coming back to the buyer's
Live
cost
action says
basis
geesh,
now.
just when I close losing patience it breaks.
Yeah. Well, despite that move up, and I'm not sure if that was really from the jolts. I mean, I think it would have to be, but the number was bad, so maybe there's something deeper in the report. I've never looked at that report before. Let's do that. This one doesn't even list it. Oh, or is it because it's just passed? because I'm not. Oh yeah, I'm not showing the ones that are all expected. Okay. Detail. Number of job openings was a little changed at 6.5 million in the last business day of August. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today hires were a little changed at 5.9 million in August. Total separations decreased to 4.6. Within separations, the quits rate was little changed at 2%, while layoffs and discharges rate decreased to a series low of 1%. This release includes estimates of the number and rate of job openings, hiring, separations, blah, 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 blah.
Live Action says Seth, you said there was buying into your short but held.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I don't know. I probably should be getting out, but I moved my stop and what happens, I guess. Because the thing is that if they're going to come back up there, then I'm not really seeing a whole lot happening for the day after that. They are turning bullish.
Gunja Din says NQ to high.
I probably should have had myself stop out down here at 33.96, but alas.
Mammon Thomas says Q.
I am seeing that NQ. So the E-mini did better on that than
grin.
NQ. No, sorry, NQ is showing the strength here. I don't see anything significant in their report, so. And see, like he got the move up, but then like it turned slow again. Well, probably they're going to continue up and stop me out, but I don't think that I have a trade if this short doesn't work. Fed's Powell speaks in 40 minutes.
Gunja Din says stalled.
Yeah.
Mammon Thomas says oil looks like reversal started.
Well, oil's showing me a doji at the moment, but it that did come down a little bit. I am detecting a hint of dollar strength here as well. Overall, and again, I want to point out, I think that the most important thing I'm noticing off of that last move up was that there was significant strength in the NASDAQ on that move.
Mammon Thomas says yay, I pulled out of long NQ.
Yeah, that was significant NQ strength in that move. So I'm still kind of seeing the NQ gambling here. That's why I'm like a little skeptical about it, because it was like, well, I don't really see any reason for it to move, but the NASDAQ moved, and that kind of makes me think that it could just be trading. And of course, if they were to come back down, and I don't really know if they will, but let's just say that they do make a new low, then it could get pretty messy, because there's probably a lot of longs in NASDAQ caught in that. That said, 33.92 is like, we're going to be in a range bound day. It's perfectly acceptable for them to pivot there and then bounce between 92 and 97, 93 and 97. This is a pretty solid inside action. I'm not sure I've ever seen one that's really caught in the spread like this. Hmm. A little bit of a fight there in the tape, I think.
Live action says, Seth, Mr. Bill, oh no. I am giving it all back.
It's okay. Mm, mm, mm. And it's stuck. There was an iceberg. There is an iceberg in here. He's kind of looks like he's defending. Mm-hmm.
Mammon Thomas says it's a long.
It really feels to me like somebody's trying to make something happen in a spot where they shouldn't be. They might win, but that's why I'm kind of like, well, it happens. Yeah, look at that at $33.99. He's definitely trying to hold it. Okay. Yeah, on that one, I really should have moved my stop down more aggressively, but by the time I had thought about that, I think it was a little bit too late. I don't know if in that case, then I should just go, well, whatever, 10, or if I should,
Clark
waiting for
Sense
it was
says, what
fine.
is TZHE difference between iceberg and absorption?
Yeah, so there's not really any difference in reality. I guess the difference is that if you know for sure it's an iceberg, you can attribute all of that volume to one individual. But they're essentially the same thing.
Clark Sense says it's all reloading.
Yeah. Well, you can see that it's kind of doing it on both sides here, though. Dollar kind of backed off there. Perhaps they were just they
Live
wanted to
action
buy it
says, I
and they were
found
just waiting
actively
for
trading all
jolts.
volume helped me actively scalping skimming.
I guess I'm a little bit higher time frame. I don't. The thing is if I see a volume spike and I can't attribute it to anything direct, I don't necessarily want to get out just because I saw that, you know? That time obviously didn't work out, but um, going through and everything else that I've seen kind of says to me that that's not a reason for me to get out of something. Well, they may do this for a bit. It looks like they're going to go for the high. Master the trade. Course overview. CME. Let's look at that. The course. Is that a new course? Okay, well, I think I'm going to take a break here. I think that at the bottom of the hour, I might see something again, and we might get another opportunity to do something. So I will be right back. Okay. So they still haven't broken the high, huh? Well, they're awfully close, though. Decent amount of volume doing it. Decent amount of resting orders holding them up, too. Yeah, I should have paid more attention to that change in the book there. Now, on the other hand, I might see it come back the other way, so as we're coming up here, I am starting to see some larger orders start to get involved a little bit. So, oh, it is a new course. Oh, this course from the CME seems like really basic shit. from their description of it. Okay, so there is the new high. Getting a little bit of pickup in volume on it. NASDAQ erases declines, and I'm seeing the NASDAQ leading again. The Treasuries aren't coming back yet, though. So that's curious. Now, what's going on here? Is this page over here like dead? There we go. Yeah, this message that live action left. Maybe he deleted it. I see the one say I found actively trading volume helped me actively scalping. I can see it here, but I don't see it over on YouTube. I want to change this. Seeing these as yeah, I don't think so. I think instead what I should do is I should change it to be on the range chart again. And that'll kind of change a couple of things, but that's okay.
Block sell.
Okay, so somebody sold a pretty big one over in 27.5.
Live action says why.
Oh, I guess he's saying yeah, why? Like he did delete it. I still don't see anything in the Jolt's jobs openings that's significant, but perhaps the buyers were just waiting for that piece of data to come out before they made their move. Thing is, well, I don't know. It is a pretty straight line. I have to say that. You can see it down there, the bottom right. Not much of a pullback at all. Pretty straight dive up. Like somebody flipped the switch. Overall, though, things still look a little slow. Things still feel a little slow to me. They are kind of coming up on a time period where we tend to see flips. This beginning of this next hour. some new money did come in on that. If they were to turn back bearish, it could get ugly because probably got a lot of people trapped. I suppose though that's less likely to happen now. I don't know. I mean, 10 points up in 15 minutes isn't bad, but for some reason it feels really sluggish to me. I am seeing, okay. Okay. Get rid of that. Market here says market fragility, market depth, and dealer gamma. US market depth remains thin. Reshuffling big books remains problematic. Volatility spikes have been rather frequent since the Volmageddon event in 2018. Corona pandemic is obviously the latest volatility event in fresh memory as it caused a massive market fragility event. Low liquidity and volatility events has led to many starting to pay attention to dealer gammas. The chart 1 VIX versus market depth, second chart showing the 2 8-month spread. Notice the extreme action during the Corona crisis. Interesting. Well, they're also showing a chart that shows that the SPOOs and VIX have been trading in tandem instead of inversely lately. So I saw a change in the level 2 there. Actually, a really curious change because both of the how do we say, passive orders and the active passive orders both moved in the same direction, short, but I don't think it really means anything. One of the problems that I'm seeing though for shorts is that There are some tactical levels up above us. Like there's some longer term resistance, but it's a good leg up. They are a little overextended on the long side though. They came back right back up to 3,400 as like the stop out zone. So that's interesting that they came down to that and bounced on it. See if they test it again. Things still kind of look range bound. As in, I'm skeptical about them being able to get. I'm skeptical about their ability to get new volume to come in here.
Gorilla Digits says yesterday's high at 3,400.
Yes, I mean they did pass yesterday's high. Not only did they pass it, but they passed it quite aggressively. That was a really low flying helicopter. Yeah, I mean, you look at this. It's just like a really unnatural move up, right? Now you're getting a pullback as natural, but this is a pretty good move, and I didn't really see a good impetus for that move. But what I find really weird is that they got that move, and now it's been like, okay, like the number of ticks within that 5-minute bar. That's not a lot. It's not actually ticking around very much. That makes sense. Ranges per 5-minute period is actually quite low. I could zoom in really hard in here. Now the treasuries are coming back a little harder now. So, okay. Hmm. That looks like luring to me at 25 half in the 10-year. It kind of pulls a little bit. There's not much on there. They hit it, but it doesn't really go off her. There's 5K sitting there though. Like if that 5K
Live
pulls.
Action says looks like politics is not a good subject here. Most down thumbs I've ever seen.
Really? Oh, I don't even see. I can't even see how many there are. Down 12. Oh, I don't know where that comes from. Somebody must have come and downvote about me. That's kind of weird because we didn't really say a whole lot in politics. But I guess somebody didn't like the argument they were having. So whatever. 24 engagements is high for us, right? Like 12 would be normal. It's funny. See, he pulls. That's some bullshit right there. Okay. A little better. So I am seeing some people entering positions up in here in the E-mini. Yeah, baby's making some noises today. Can you hear him? Mm-mm. Hmm. Some offers are stacking in here now. Do you see this NASDAQ ES correlation kind of reverting back? Oh, it's 3401.25. I guess I can just go like that. I'm gonna try it one more time. So I can see that the 10-year looks pretty heavy, but then there's some absorption in the 30-year. Hmm. There's some volume going through there, but the level 2 isn't much changing. Oh, Powell's speaking here in 5 minutes. Hmm. 25 showing some strength. Can see things steepening again. So we came back. The 30-year fell quite a bit. Okay. I'm getting a little bit more sustained of a bear push there. I want to try and play that one by ear. Okay. I don't much like that. I'm going to cancel that one for now. I originally wanted 26. I'm not sure. Are the treasuries going to pop back up if the mini drops here again below the open? Yeah. Well, that one didn't work out so well. In fact.
Live action says Seth next you might be demonetized. That high number of thumbs is questionable at this early time. Wonder if shenanigans going on.
I won't worry about it. Don't care. Don't care. Look at those 5Ks show up at 25 and 25 half. Wouldn't be the first time that we've had issues, but YouTube works it out. We're allowed to talk about current events. It's not the first time that I've had somebody come in and like the thing is I think there's somebody out there that doesn't realize what downvotes on videos do. Because it still counts as engagement. It just means that the person that downvoted it is less likely to see my content. So if you guys continue to like the video, so if you're enjoying this stream and you haven't already, go ahead and click that like button. And if we get a good ratio of likes, hey, even though there's those down
Live
likes,
action says Seth short with you here.
Oh, cool. Then yeah, that'll give us that'll give the video a boost actually. So. Those 5Ks disappeared again. Am I getting some spoofing here? If I pull this up, will it show me the historical? No, it won't.
Live action says but at support.
Pal speaking. Hmm. Well, they seem to be reading his comments as bullish. I don't see anything significant in them, though. All right, well. Feels like somebody's trying to use news to pump it, even though the news doesn't justify anything. Donald Trump, I am looking forward to the debate on the evening of Thursday, October 15th in Miami. It will be great. Well, there was some big bids there in the 10-year, and they both pulled, and we've ticked back down to 25 half, and nothing's happening now. Unclear if the 30-year is going to come back down to the bottom or if it's going to bounce. That'd be an unusually... Okay. Yeah, come on. Damn it. The hell was that? Oh, I'm getting this nonsense again. Did we not? Thought we fixed that.
Live action says wow, very nice short.
Did not click on that nearly fast enough. Gold is whipsawing quite a bit here. Gold looks like it's going down. Dollar index is coming up a little bit. E-mini just taking a really big hit there. I think that they're reacting to something Powell said, but I don't actually see. And I think that probably that move was a little overextended because of the imbalance. Mm-hmm.
Live action says Powell recovery fast, future uncertain.
Shit. The 10-year doing some wild stuff here, man. I just got whipsawed back 2 ways on that one. Well, I'm going to give up on the Treasury here. So I really want to make more trades, and I think that I could probably pull a little bit out here. Oh, I really should have done better on that last one. But it's not really okay. Okay, China's saying something about Taiwan.
Live action says P. Households need more fiscal support.
That would make a little bit more sense as to why we moved. Germany reiterates call on Russia to explain itself regarding Navalny case. I don't know, man. That was not Powell. So the Powell's speech comments were
Live Action
released all
says
at
P
once.
recovery pace more moderate now.
So that couldn't have been Powell. So the thing that I find interesting here is that we did get all of the longs give up. I'm not necessarily seeing shorts come in. Not yet. Not yet. Was it that Taiwan tweet? China says Taiwan is its inalienable part. Inalienable part. Well, it's not. You're not getting it back. Some people in chat upset about that candle there. I feel ya. Tenure is being really choppy here. Really, really choppy. Damn it. So what's happening is I'm trying to hold really, really tight risk and not taking the profits and then not getting anything out of it. So I need to either start taking the profits or I need to widen the stop.
Octavia C says the pulling has been out of control in
Congress and
ZN.
the White House don't provide more stimulus. Well, I don't know if that's what it was. They're attributing it to Powell's comments, but I'm deeply skeptical about
Uzi
that.
Knesset says same in ZB. Someone is trying to get fills.
Yeah, somebody was spoofing there. This is bullshit. Now ZB moved down quite a bit. You're seeing some pretty strong steepening here in the knob. You see it? Just on the DOM there. The gap between the two of them. It looks like all the longs are just getting back in. Somebody gets scared and then the longs are like, oh no, we still want it. Never mind, we still want it. So then why do I want to go short? Treasuries down a little bit still. You're getting some real steepening in the curve. Okay. Hmm. Like I really want to cancel that, but I already know what's my problem has been. They had 10 tick down and it was quite aggressive, and now it's hmm. Hmm. Deciding to toy around with that open a little bit, I guess. Well, I'm not entirely sure if this is bullish or bearish, but they look incredibly off balance at the moment, don't they? The 10-year is just like spinning around in circles. The 98.50s. Okay, there you go.
Gorilla Digits says y'all confusing today.
Well, if they say it's the Fed president's comments, then it's the Fed president's comments. But I didn't see anything in it that was new or unusual for him to say. Um, Robots, I guess. There was a lot of people long there. So for him to come in and say something and trigger the robots and just cause a stop run of some sort and wash out all of the longs mix, that could explain it. Like I said, I'm not seeing a lot of new short positions being added on here. I mean, I'm seeing some, but it's not getting strong yet. Baby is unhappy. Well, I'm just going to let this run and I'm going to see what his deal is. Still kind of holding there. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. So I have found relatively significant chance that if you're above the open you want to buy, and if you're below the open you want to sell. So they're gonna want to battle over this here. Personally, I'm just looking at the book, and
Mohammed Salim
it looks
Alami says who
negative
ate my
to me.
Twinkies? It's the robots.
The robots ate Twinkies? What? Wow. Wow, 21 likes, guys. Thank you so much. Hmm. Yeah, so there's some icebergs getting involved here now, I think.
Mohammed Salim Alami says why is there poverty in the world? It's the robots.
I don't know about that, but it might take humans a long time to adjust to a world with robots. Mm. Nate Silver tweets Monmouth has Biden with an 8 or 11 point lead in Pennsylvania, depending on which version of their likely model you prefer. That's an awfully poor result for Trump, given that Monmouth's state polls had been a bright spot for him lately. It does appear, even though I saw some initial evidence after the debate suggesting that Donald Trump was benefiting from the debate, the polling is almost all showing a decline in support after the debate. Okay, curious. It's going to tick into 13 in ZB there. You get these spots where they fight it a bunch and then it'll just go through on nothing, right? Disinflationary pressures around the world have been persistent, says Powell. Treasuries ticking up there. Actually, 3 ticks in ZB. Okay. Another pretty solid down bar. I am seeing NASDAQ weakness again as we're coming down. Trump is improving, but is not out of the woods yet, huh? Trump campaign press secretary Hogan Gidley is on Fox saying that President Trump has been leading on the issue of mask wearing. Well, okay. I mean, Donald Trump has promoted the use of mask wearing. I don't know if I would say he's been leading, but he never said don't wear them, even though he clearly doesn't like them. Michelle Obama, we can trust Joe Biden to name Supreme Court justices. Emphasis on this, who will follow in the footsteps of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Uh-huh. That's what I'm worried about. Oh, really? Bitfinex tweeting something. A gif of I forget who that is. But saying it's going to be biblical. Okay. This guy has some clout. I don't That's interesting. Should keep an eye on Bitcoin here. They are down at the moment. Okay. Pushing below the open again. See if they can hold below it now. So, no, slightly lower low. Not past the last pivot though at 33.98. We trying, but somebody absorbing there, huh? Okay. Gonna try again. No. Ah, there you go. I think he finally had. I think whoever the seller was kindly finally fed up with it and was like, "Get the f out of here." Okay, well we caught the one. Still tight. I think that we could go down to back to those lows, but it's still very very tight. 98 kind of acting as resistance now. All very short term and tepid though. I don't know. Oh, I can pin messages to the top of live chat now. That's kind of cool. Okay. Al says when the time comes, we'll put the emergency tools away under lock and key. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back and read that and kind of see the more of the context or see how he said that because that's interesting phrasing. And that's something I haven't heard before. Hmm. So, we're starting to get a turn down in cumulative delta. In fact, we're almost to a new session low in
Live
cumulative
Action says
delta.
one chat room has chat pop on screen video stream.
What do you mean? Like you can see the messages in the video portion of it? We used to have that, but when we moved over to YouTube, it seemed really unnecessary. So,
Live Action
yeah.
says why.
You don't remember? You were around when we first started and we had that when we were multi-streaming and stuff. I just didn't find that it really added much. I don't know. I wish that YouTube had better tools for audience interaction. Like I think
Ace
Twitch
Trades
is a
says
way
short
better at this stuff.
3,397.25.
Oh, really? Mm, I'm kind of waiting here. I think. Okay.
PRT1 says be careful.
I want to wait. I'm gonna wait. In fact, I might have already have been taking my last trade for the session, but because I'm not gonna be able to trade after this, I'd like to keep going, but it's really not the the greatest action today, is it? If I had been taking equal targets, I would have done really well. At least I would have gotten that one. I would have gotten that one, but
Live Action says okay then I am going long slightly smiling face.
I honestly I don't know if I can justify it. my position, but I feel like that there's not a lot of reason to get into a position here because it's just kind of chipping around. He's don't need much though. He's bearish. Hmm. What was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about how I wish that YouTube had better audience interaction tools, right? Because Twitch has a lot of things like that, like there's the emojis and the bits, and it's all really designed to get people to do certain actions and all that stuff. And in YouTube, they're really just not nearly as far. Like I think the biggest thing that Twitch has that would make a difference over on YouTube is the ability to gift subscriptions to people. I would gift you guys subscriptions if I had that ability. You guys that are here every day. Um, what else? Oh yeah, and you can message people on Twitch. YouTube, you can't direct message a creator anymore. You used to be able to, but not anymore. And I would much prefer people to message me. I'd rather have it all in one spot. Right now, everybody messages me on Discord, which is great. That's really the way to do it, is to message me on Discord. Um, but if it was on YouTube, I feel like that it would be easier for my audience to interact with me because then they could all do it where they were watching me in the first place, Because not everybody wants to share everything that they're talking, especially the guys that want to talk programming. They don't want everybody to see their strategy. How all negative rates are not a tool we see as something we are looking to use. Kind of getting a bit of a descending triangle here. And that's what we were getting before we fell 33.98. And now, of course, that 98 has been resistance. They're really having to fight here, though. They're in the middle of the spread. It's not in the seller's advantage until 33.94. Women abandoned the workforce at an alarming pace in September, raising new fears that women are bearing the brunt of the pandemic and that it could have lasting impacts on their careers. Yes, it's impacted my wife. Man, the 10-year really has chopped around in that spot. 25 half. Ah, slightly lower
Ace
low,
Trades
but
says there is your 2 points. Cover the
yeah.
trade.
Oh, I can't believe you held that whole thing. But if you're only trying to get 2 points, wait. What was the highest that we got? 97 point. Oh, you got 97.25. Yeah, you're good. You're good. News Squawk says it's a tedious copy and paste job from Powell today. It doesn't
Ace
seem like.
Trades says an out.
I'm really weirded out by how much the market seems to be reacting to this speech because it seems like all shit he said before. Why am I swearing? It seems like stuff he said before.
Live Action says at Ace Nice. Ace Trades says thanks.
I don't know that you have to admit though that one was a little. It shouldn't take that long, right? And be that choppy. And it wasn't the momentum play. There was some other reason that you took it. I'm kind of thinking if they do really want to sell, that they might wait until after the London close to do it. Okay, a little bit of a slip there. Not another local low, but a bit of a slip. I'm kind of wondering though if they won't come back to the 94 area and bounce. That's a possible scenario for sure. You guys swear a lot. So I had this I got this Dino bot and I banned certain words on it, and I wanted, I turned on all of it, and I can like I can
Gorilla
specify
Digit
the
says I was
words on my
thinking maybe
own.
87.50.
I can specify all of the words on my own, but I decided to
Ace
go with
Trades
their
says
default
computer
swear
just froze.
filters.
Gosh dang it.
Oh, that's not good. I went with like the default swear words, and I was like, well, I don't have a problem if people use the F word and stuff, but I don't want to go through do all that work, so I'm just gonna leave it. And you guys in Discord saying that stuff a lot. You guys in Discord are swearing a lot. But I did it. I was like, well, let's keep it professional. Look at that. This is a long, isn't it?
Ace Trades says mother farmers.
Mother farmers, yeah. Striker said effers when we took that dive. It's not bullish. People need to avoid buying at the high. It's an effing range. Yeah. And it deletes them. And I think they're all surprised because they keep forgetting. Or they didn't realize. Okay, so that one's bad.
Ace Trades
I
says don't be
see.
offended by sounds people make with their mouth.
That's just the default filter. Oh boy. Well, that one didn't seem to be working out, but I'm seeing big orders come in. Curious. Like it moved against me, but it's still crazy slow. They might jump back up to 33.96. I don't know. It's looking, though, like lungs are bailing here. Okay, well. Flip short. They break that low, then I really want to be short, but in fact, I will take a second contract if they do that. Yeah, we'll do it on new low, though. Yeah, because that could happen. Okay, new low, not quite so dramatic. NHC says Delta has intensified to a Category 4 hurricane. I haven't heard of this storm yet. It's called Delta? All of the names were supposed to be like Spanish names and stuff. A little bit of buying the low there. I don't know. I can see the ES picking up again here. Like the NASDAQ is falling more than the ES is. And the Treasuries did bid up. I was long in the Treasuries at one point, but it never really chopped around. Never had a lot of conviction on that one. Oh. Howell says that moral hazard concerns are legitimate, but that we should worry about that when we're on a better economic footing. Okay. You know, that sounds like something I've been hearing for the last 10 years. Again. You know what I mean? Oh, look at that big old order down at 85. There's not a whole lot of large orders out there today, is there? There's a few above us that they just weren't ever able to get back up to, but oh boy. Financial juice. What is a Category 4 hurricane? Winds from 130 to 156 miles per hour. Yeah, it's bad. I'll tell you what, it's bad. That's like all of the trees in your neighborhood are going to be gone. Okay, Mr. Powell's done talking. Hmm. That was a lot of whipsaw, man. Frustrating action. Okay, well, I don't know. I think it's time to shut things down. Oh hey, look, that one's going okay. What should we name the stream though? It shouldn't be two. It should be
Live action says thanks Seth, sorry if I got under some skins here today.
You're fine. Extremely choppy order flow. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I want to make a change to this stream a little bit. I don't think that it will change anything that you guys would notice, but we need to target our videos better. So today is a good example of extremely choppy order flow. So that's why I'm going to name today's video. By the way, 21 likes. Thank you guys very much. I'm sure that this video will do really well. I should not have an order there at the low because they're almost certain to go through that if they go. ECB's Lane talking. Well, I would like to stick around, but I should really get going, so I'm just gonna leave it, close it. Yeah. But thank you guys very much. I will see you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.